Oh, wait, no, that's... Okay, that's the PP. The PP's different.
You really ought to...
Mods as in modifications or mods as in moderators? That would be modifications. Video game modifications. We can go to War on Mods as well. That's another option. So, the War on Mods. I've never watched a video from this guy's channel, so I don't really know what the deal is. But I see Skyrim, so I assume there's going to be some kid murdering. Anyway.
You really ought to put some clothes on.
No.
You're embarrassing yourself.
That was
Screw
just
you.
When I was a wee chum in the 4th...
Oh, wait, no, it is this guy. Oh, it's this guy again. Okay, hold up. I didn't remember his channel name. We did watch a video from this guy yesterday, didn't we? Okay. Maybe I did watch one of these guys' videos before.
There was a novelist who came to my school and was doing a speech about this brand new invention where you could type anything you wanted into it and it could make any story whatever you wanted it to be.
It's called
and
AI?
that invention was called a book. Oh, wow, it's a book! Get out of here! That's a video game mod. With the exception of Undertale fan art from 2015, mods are one of the finest forms of creative expression for video games, which could range from bug fixes and playing as...
Hi, bro. Whoa, wait, Ahmed, you're here. Can I press the button? I can't press the button. God damn it. Okay, I can't press the button.
Joel in the second Last of Us to changing a game's lore and story entirely, which is exactly what the...
He redeemed ads yesterday, and I didn't give him his ads.
The first real mod ever made did, Castle Smurfenstein.
Is the official title screen music? That doesn't surprise me for a mod.
Castle Smurfenstein was released in 1983, and it was a modification for Castle Wolfenstein, where instead of killing Nazis like you did in the original game, you're killing, as the mod says, blue bastards. Not only does the mod come with its own beautiful soundtrack like you heard 15 seconds ago, but it also has its own lore. This mod was so popular that the team behind it, Dead Smurf Software, continued to make Smurf murdering parody mods under that name. If you go on the official page for Dead Smurf Software, you can definitely tell they were a programming...
Woo! That is a 90s website. Holy! Doesn't affect me anyway because I'm subbed, so yeah, I'm pure evil for redeeming that.
Duo from the early 80s, but regardless of relevance, they definitely influenced the
God,
world.
okay,
Notice how Muse Software, the creators of Castle Wolfenstein, allowed the two friends to...
Muse Software. Like that Muse? Is this like a different This is a different company named Muse Software, yes? Or is that it? Or is the other one... Okay, no, what is the company that owns Audacity? Is it just called Muse or something? It's a very similar name. I'm blanking on their name. Muse Group. Muse Group is the one that I'm thinking of. Yes.
Create their satirical mod and leave it up for the world to enjoy. This is one of 3 ways to handle a mod. Well, some people think mods are just silly additions to video games that have no impact on the industry
whatsoever. A lot of them are.
Those people could actually not be any more wrong. Because one of the biggest tactical shooters on PC started...
Wait, I'm sorry, what? Oh, you just pinned a message. Okay. What are we watching? We are watching, companies don't like mods in a lot of cases.
Out as a mod. Counter-Strike was a multiplayer mod for Half-Life that separated players into 2 teams, terrorist and counter-terrorist. The way this game worked was so balanced and engaging, with the terrorists guarding a hostage and the counter-terrorists trying to save them, instead of allowing the mod to...
Counter-Strike is literally the chess of esports. Like, people will be playing Counter-Strike in 50 years.
Of popularity, Valve, the studio behind Half-Life, hired the creators to make Counter-Strike its own standalone game. And as discussed in the last video, Steam, the largest video game market in the world, was mostly created so that Counter-Strike could be updated more conveniently. Technically, without the influence of video game modding, Steam probably wouldn't even exist. And this is also one of 3 ways to handle a mod. You hire the creators so that they can push their idea to the best it can be. And finally,
or you do what Minecraft has done many times, which is you yoink the mod. So There are a number of features throughout the history of Minecraft where they just yoinked it. They eventually gave credits, but it took them a while. Potions were originally a mod. Pistons were originally a mod. Those are the first two that come to mind. And eventually they started doing the right thing there. But for a while, they were being a bit under the table with it.
The last and most effective way to deal with a mod creator,
DMCA.
send a private investigator to their house. Most people know that Rockstar acquired CFX.Re, which are the creators behind 5M and RedM, the alternate multiplayer services for GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, 2015 CFX.Re, and specifically Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two Interactive, weren't so close and cuddly, and were more in a I want to fucking kill you kind of romantic relationship. Parent companies, am I right?
Well, actually, speaking of modders, have you seen the way that Bethesda has been treating the Sky Oblivion people? This is one of the cases of a company actually, like, being really nice to them. So, this is from a month ago. Bethesda has gifted every member of the Sky Oblivion team free keys for Oblivion Remastered. That's just one of the things they've done. I believe they also, like, flew them out to the studio or something? Yeah, I think that was also... I know they, like, invited them to the studio. But, like, Bethesda knows that their games fucking suck, and they let the modders fix it. So, they're more than happy to work with them.
After Take-Two terminated the mod developers' accounts from Rockstar's Social Club, leaving the fans with no way to play Rockstar's games on PC, two private investigators showed up at the mod creator's house saying, quote, "We have tested our legal standing already and are quite certain of our point and are unwilling to accept any solution other than ceasing your activities." So why was Rockstar, but more specifically Take-Two, so upset about the mod? Was 5M truly harmful?
Shark cards. That there you go. Nothing else needs to be said.
To Grand Theft Auto 5? No! 5M has always been a free-to-play mod for GTA 5 that just gives players other servers to have fun in, whether it's roleplay or community-made racing. The only reason Take-Two Interactive wanted 5M taken down was because it had a large community that, of course, wasn't playing the pay-to-win official Grand Theft Auto Online mode. And it's true that now Rockstar and Take-Two have acquired CFX.Re, but logically speaking, what else were they supposed to do? GTA 5's roleplay community is so large that nobody would stand for 5M permanently being taken down like Take-Two always wanted. So if Rockstar wanted to make more money and stay on the community's good side, they had to purchase CFX.Re. As the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, Strauss Zelnick, once said, "We at Take-Two..."
Or they could just let them do their own thing and not fuck with them. That's another option.
Value creativity and innovation. Fortunately for us, we have a pleasant variety of talented minds in our marketing department, Rockstar, and 2K. We of course want to deliver quality and ensure the customer is happy with...
Wait, sorry, that just reminded me. Yeah, so did you see this? Borderlands for $80. Sorry, just remember this when I heard the name 2K. Where is it? If you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen, the executive said, before recalling the time he spent $80 on a Sega Genesis game. Absolute fucking boomer. If you're a real fan, you'll make it happen. If you're a real fan, you'll make it happen for GTA. Like, GTA is one of those games where, yeah, you can, you could charge $110 for GTA. People are still gonna buy it. Borderlands 4? Borderlands 4 is not exactly GTA 6.
with what they buy, which is why we make an effort to reach out to our modding community so that we can line them up individually against a concrete wall and shoot them. For eons, gamers have debated what is the worst video game port. PUBG's console port, released in a state so atrocious, it permanently tarnished the game's popularity across PlayStation and Xbox. It's no surprise that to this day, it still looks like PUBG Mobile, even if you're playing on a PS5 Pro. Because
Okay, yeah.
Exclusive, it was not only reliant on SSDs for—
Well, it's not the games cost too much now, right? Sorry, we're going to a side tangent here. Games are cheaper than they were back in the 90s. Everything else is more expensive. So, like, it was common to see, like, 90 USD games back on the NES. However, everything else was way, way cheaper. So, it kind of, like, balanced out. Now, everything is more expensive. So, welcome to the modern era.
For fast load times, but also required at least a 4th generation Intel i5 processor to run. The Xbox One has a processor that's much less powerful than the bare minimum one that PUBG on PC required, only running at 1.75 gigahertz, while the i5 4590 runs at 3.3 gigahertz. The developers didn't care to
many
optimize
gigahertz
PUBG for the Xbox's hardware, and instead just slapped all the PC-oriented code into the game and shipped it like nothing could possibly go wrong. To this day, PUBG on console still isn't a great experience, and as a result, it's heavily overshadowed by Fortnite, and unfortunately, because it was a console release, it can't be fixed with mods, and will forever be a broken port.
Oh, wait, hold up. Wait, look at that fucking texture. What is this? That is some rough LOD. Holy. They're up now as $80 games, or about how much they were also consoles. Yeah, that's the thing, right? So there were $90 NES games. Let's find out. NES retail price. What did the NES retail for? $199. So you might have had $90 games, but the console was like $300 cheaper. So again, like, also food was cheaper, rent was cheaper. Like, you go to McDonald's and get yourself a meal for a couple of dollars. Like, everything was cheaper, so it doesn't even matter that the games are more expensive. I think that's like the thing that is always left out of the conversation.
Ever be a broken port. GTA 4 also released in a really bad state and stutters even on modern hardware, but with a simple fix that changes the API GTA 4 uses, the game will run silky smooth with Vulkan opposed to DirectX 9. The moral of the story—
I'm sorry.
uses,
wait. So, the way you run GTA 4 on PC is you DXVK it on Windows. That's fucking amazing. Linux wins again.
Silky smooth with Vulkan opposed to DirectX 9. The moral of the story is, thanks to mods, some ports can be fixed. Even ports as awful, as uninspired, as catastrophic as Skyrim VR. When you hear that a game like Skyrim is on VR, you probably imagine taking in the beautiful environment through a whole new perspective. Epic combat sequences that keep you moving in real life to dodge attacks, slapping Nazim graphics. No, Skyrim VR is about as immersive as trying to eat snacks in GTA Online. Interacting with the environment is the exact same as the vanilla game, and what I mean by that is instead of physically picking up objects with your hands, which is what VR is all about, you hold the A button down and make the object float. You do have to physically swing your weapon in combat, but there's no real reason to swing it in any other way than just shaking your hand around and waiting for your enemy's health to deplete. And to make things worse, sometimes enemies will stun you.
It is still Skyrim combat. You, like, no matter what you're gonna do, it's still Skyrim combat.
It's impossible to hit them at that time. Something like getting stunned would work in a game that isn't VR, but because you're not stunned in real life and you can still move your hands, it just feels like an unnecessary hiccup in gameplay. Skyrim VR in its vanilla state
immediately makes you sick.
from a tech demo showing what VR could have been in 2016. And
Right.
sure, this would be fine if it was a $20 game like Skyrim is. I mean, it is still Skyrim after all, but it's actually a full-fledged $80. What's absolutely amazing about this game, though, is that its modding community turned it from the worst port ever to possibly the most immersive game of all time. VRIK allows you to see your character. You can set weapon holsters to different parts of your body, so when you reach to your side and grab your sword, then grab your shield off your back, it makes combat feel more real and threatening.
That's
than
cool.
Just pressing the R2 button to pull out your sword.
Yeah, I personally go to a website called PC Gaming Wiki, and they usually tell you to install DXVK or Wine 3D on Windows for better performance and fixing stuff.
No, they don't. Shut up. No, that's not real. Surely not. That's fucking amazing.
Higgs gives Skyrim physics, so you can pick up things and shake people's hand and even lift potions to your mouth and drink them, among other things.
Oh, wow.
You can't take that.
One of my favorite enhancements that Higgs brings to Skyrim VR is how in combat, enemies react to what direction you swing at them from with your sword. And you know what? Now that I'm talking about it, that probably isn't even the coolest thing about Higgs. This mod allows you to physically pick up items and put them in your inventory by storing them over your shoulder.
Oh,
so
that's
it makes
cool.
something as simple as collecting a mammoth tusk for your solda a lot more immersive and rewarding because you actually picked up that mammoth tusk.
That is cool.
And just for the heck of it, I got the immersive pole chain mod that makes dungeons so much more interactive than base Skyrim VR. Just a few mods completely change the way Skyrim VR feels, and it's a beautiful thing that a faithful community can turn a game into whatever they want it to be. And fortunately for Skyrim, Bethesda doesn't handle mods as bad as a handful of other companies do. While they are criticized because they offer
You want to talk about a company that doesn't like mods? EA can be a little bit rough, especially with certain IPs they have. It's funny all the games from Windows 7 and XP era, like Fallout New Vegas, Far Cry 2, run better in Wine because Wine had better backwards compatibility than Windows. Yeah, Wine is really good at handling older titles. Minus weird cutscenes. There's some proprietary cutscene formats that were used back then. Capcom? Capcom's a weird one. It very much depends on the franchise. Because there is fucking zero care for some of them. What's a good example? Yeah, Monster Hunter is a really good example, actually. So, there are tons and tons of cheaters in, Monster Hunter Co-op who will set up co-op missions where it just gives you max of every single item, right? And then, like, there's good things for single player, like, oh, you want to change how, the navigation system works, things like that. Like, there are good things, but then, you know, some companies are a bit like, there's, like, the way they handle it is very specific to the IP. Sega is chill? That's because Sega doesn't make fucking good game. If Sega didn't like mods, Sonic would be dead. No one would give a shit about Sonic if Sega didn't like mods.
Console players, instead of giving them away for free, they do have a handful of free mods to choose from, so it is better, in my opinion, that console players are getting the option to mod their games. I mean, it's better than nothing, which is exactly what Nintendo fans get over and over and over. In 2017, Keza Manoir, I really hope that's how you pronounce it, created a mod for Super Mario 64 that allowed a small group of friends to play together. But
well, there is a bit of truth to that. What, the whole Sonic thing? The Sonic community is held alive by fan games and fan modders. Like, if Sega can't make a good game, then the fans are gonna do so. What Carrot said? What did Carrot say? Some dude just tried to argue that Valve is the whole reason you can play games on Linux. Yes and no. Valve did make Proton considerably... Like, Proton is a really good collection, but we need to remember that DXVK was started by a guy who wanted to play Nier. The DX9 and earlier support, that was done by another person who was told that it was impossible and there was no point doing it and felt like it was a personal attack. So went and did it. and then both those people got hired by Valve. That's how Proton came about. And then Wine is something from the 90s. So Valve certainly helped bring everything together, and Valve's done a lot of good work, but it doesn't only exist because of Valve. Valve has just done a lot to bring it to the state it's in. It existed, but it would not be, like, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in today without Valve.
Of course, the last thing Nintendo wants is for people to be able to play
Oh, and then Vulcan is from the Kronos group.
their game together. So they not only took down the trailer for the mod on YouTube, but they also shut down the mod entirely almost immediately. Mario 64 is a game from 1996. The only official ways to play it now are through the Mario Collection bundle on Switch, and of course the monthly subscription for online.
Of course.
Nintendo has made no effort to improve the frame rate, visuals, or anything, but one guy makes a mod that's only purpose is to bring people together, and Nintendo won't stand for it. The same mod artist...
My favorite thing about Nintendo is when they get caught using open source emulators in like their museums and various other places. I remember a few years back, they'd left an exposed USB port and somebody decided to plug some things into it. And wow, would you look at that? It turns out they were running whatever, I don't know, NES emulation, whatever like the main NES emulator is on that system in their museum. Wow. Crazy. Who would have guessed? BSN, yeah, I don't do NES emulation. Whatever like the main one is. And Nintendo rules for thee, not for me. Yeah, exactly.
Created a fan-made Zelda project called A Missing Link in 2020.
Or maybe it was N64. It was one of the older Nintendo consoles. Could have been GameCube. Doesn't exactly matter. They were using one of the big open source emulators in their official museum.
That was its own separate story designed entirely inside of Ocarina of Time's engine, and unsurprisingly, Nintendo didn't let that see the light of day either. Or at least they tried to. Thankfully, a lot of people still got the opportunity to play it. Now, if the mod creators were directly profiting off what they made, that would be a whole different story. But the two examples I've mentioned so far were completely free. And finally, the last example I want to bring up was the fan project Zelda Maker in 2017. After Nintendo officially stated they would never make a Zelda Maker type game like they did with Mario Maker, a game developer named Justin Sink got to work on his own iteration. Because again, Nintendo said they weren't gonna do it. They said it would be too hard. After showcasing the game on YouTube, Nintendo took the videos down and sent a DMCA notice to the creator over copyright infringement. Fortunately, Justin didn't give up on the project so easily. Instead, he renamed it and changed all the enemy sprites so he could still create his Zelda Maker type game that he always wanted to make. And right now, it's known as Legend Maker, and you can support it on Patreon. And just to make it clear, this is not a paid shout out or anything. As a huge Legend of Zelda fan, I'm just happy that somebody's making the game I always wanted to play. So, to an extent, I understand why companies might take down some mods. Mods like the one that ported Liberty City Stories into San Andreas' engine, for example. It's a great mod, but it does
That's really cool. That is really cool.
Technically give away a whole ass game for free, but on the other hand, Rockstar neglected their handheld titles and didn't release them on any other platform, so why let them die? Shouldn't art stay accessible outside of its outdated hardware limitations? Rockstar hired a third-party company to remaster 3...
Oh my god, look at this! I had not seen these characters in the remastered trilogy. Holy...
of the most beloved games of all time, and they not only botched the remasters but also took down all of the original games from the store so nobody could even play the better versions. Recently, a team of 4 awesome Russian dudes ported the entirety of GTA Vice City into GTA 4's engine, giving it better shooting, driving, movement, everything pretty much. This team of fans did something so good for the GTA community, and even though it's totally copyright infringement to port an entire game over to a newer title and give it to players for free, it's also a whole lot better than paying $80 for a broken port the company rushed to get some extra cash from fans. So when I see these long-time fan-made projects get taken down by these massive corporations, it just makes me cringe more than anything. Because it goes to show that they know modders care more about their IPs than they do. And the only way to keep a loyal community is to take down any mod project that could make their shitty marketing decisions look like shitty marketing decisions.
Who do you think you are, you piece of plastic shit? Oh! Oh! Bro, yeah!
The good news is that there are still companies that take a similar approach to modders, like what Valve did in the early 2000s with Counter-Strike. CD Projekt Red updated The Witcher 3 a few years ago, giving it a brand new graphical upgrade, and the game looks absolutely stunning. And what's even more stunning is that they employed fans of the game who had modded it in the past to help with the official update.
Wow, okay. That's cool.
Witcher 3 HD Reworked project is the most popular mod for The Witcher 3, and it's been in development since 2015, amassing a whopping 5.6 million downloads. CD Projekt Red confirmed they would be collaborating with the mod creator for The Witcher 3 HD Reworked project in 2021 when they said to Kotaku, in addition to our own development efforts on the next-gen version of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for the Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and PC, we are also in talks with creators of various mods for the 2015 release of the game. And after taking a long break from the fan-made project, the creator for the HD rework publicly announced that he went quiet because he got reached out to by CDPR, and as a result, The Witcher 3, like I said, looks incredible after the update. Although it's a meme to hire fans, if handled correctly, it can actually improve a game from what it once was, because sometimes the people who've clocked thousands of hours into one video game know its shortcomings, where it excels, and why it speaks to them.
CDPR is based, they're the ones that own GOG? I completely forgot about that.
It wasn't just The Witcher 3 that saw improvements by the hands of modders, though. CDPR caught wind of a beet farmer who was working in Australia that was working on a remake for The Witcher 1 in The Witcher 3's engine during his spare time. So let's take a moment really quick and think, what would Take-Two do? Well, we know what Take-Two would do. But what CD Projekt Red did was, 1, hired him on as an official member of the team, 2, didn't make him shut down his fan-made project, and 3, made him a senior on the production of The Witcher 4! Like Valve, Bethesda, and CDPR, there are still a lot of companies that allow creators to make awesome mods for their games. Half-Life Alyx has a fortunate amount of great alternate story mods, and so does Skyrim, Hearts of Iron, Minecraft, Fallout, and a handful of other games that keep themselves fresh by being open to change. I even saw a mod the other day for The Last of Us that puts you in the shoes of a Fedra soldier. Mods aren't all Thomas the Tank Engine, dragons, and Skyrim, and porn. They're fixes for broken titles.
So if you go to Expedition 33's Nexus page, I obviously cannot show you. The top mods are like fixing the scaling, fixing performance, blah blah, this and that, and then Lune naked.
The developers neglect. They're graphical upgrades that people with higher-end PCs couldn't get with the original game. They're free extra content created by fans. Mods are and always will be important, and I hope that in 10 years' time, it's not made illegal by the protest of large corporations trying to hog all the good ideas. Not that Nintendo will ever make Ocarina of Time run at 60 frames per second.
No.
But what do you guys think about all
they
this?
will never do
you
that.
think mods are that important for the game
Mods
industry?
are the devil.
Let me know in the comments below. And also, do you think they will die out in 100 years? I can't wait to read what you guys have to say about that. And as always, thank you.
Man, I don't know what's gonna fucking happen next week, let alone 100 years from now. Jesus. I think there's always gonna be companies that care about modding. And honestly, if we want to talk about copyright, I do think copyright is in for a big change with all of these companies openly adopting AI. Like, I do think AI is one of these things that is really gonna... It's gonna, like, kind of force a rework of the copyright system. Because right now, everybody is just openly breaking copyright, and no one cares. A specter of mods haunt the gaming continent. Oh, Ahmed, are you still here? If you are, we can press the button. You just know that the new copyright is going to be in favor of corpos and against the people. Oh, 100%. 100% it will be. Don't you worry about that.